Buying a new phone is always exciting, but you don't want to make bad decisions when you want to buy that new phone. If you don't really know some of the things to look out for when buying a new phone or upgrading to a new phone, here are some of the 4 main things that you should consider before buying that new phone. And I'm going to try and illustrate with good examples in each case. The first thing you need to consider is your needs in a phone. You need to know the reason of why you're upgrading to that new phone. This is important because you might need a phone because you need a better camera, especially for content creators. You might need a phone that has good gaming capabilities because they're actually phones dedicated to specifically gaming, as you can see on the screen. Or basically you just use your phone for communication through text, calls and social media. Or maybe you just need to upgrade just for the sake of upgrading. So once you identify that reason of why you want to upgrade to that new phone, it's going to help you in the next steps before you buy that new phone. The second thing you need to consider is the price, which plays a critical part because most of the time you're on a budget. So you need to know that they are flagship phones. These are the expensive phones that each company release as the flagship for themselves. For example, right now, the iPhone 13 series, the Samsung S20 series, those are the types of flagship phones that you can get. And there are also mid-range phones which range anywhere from $400 to $600. And there are cheap phones which are mainly the ones which are below $300. Phones are getting cheaper and cheaper phones are becoming good. So right now you can actually get a $250 phone. For example, the Poco X4 Pro 5G, which Mr. Was the Boss did a good review about it, and it ranges between $250 and $300. And so at that price with the specs that phone has, you should really watch that video. It really delivers. And I'm gonna do another video about it specifically for best budget phones that you can get right now. So once you figure out the price that you want to spend, it will be easier for you to identify the category from which you're gonna buy your phone from. An example of a good mid-range phone from Samsung is the Samsung Galaxy A73 5G, which you can get at around $400. And a good cheap Samsung phone that you can get is the Samsung A13. The third thing that you need to consider when buying these phones is the year of release, and I'm going to explain why. So right now, most Android phones, when they are released, they are promised 3 years of continuous software updates, and which after that they will receive no more software updates. For using Samsung as an example, the 2020 flagship phone, which is the S20 Ultra, it will receive updates up to 2023, which means after that it will not get any new software updates. And right now, a mid-range of smartphone like the A53 or the A73, which cost way less than the S20 Ultra right now, will receive updates up to 2025. So if you're really considering between the two, the Samsung Galaxy A53 and the A73 will receive updates up to 2025, and the S20 will receive up to 2023. And if you're on iOS, there's a much greater advantage because iOS promises 5 years of software updates, and that's why a phone like this, which is the iPhone 7, runs at iOS 15.3 currently, which is the current software that the iPhone 13 Pro Max is running. So this was released back in 2016, and right now it's 2022, and it still runs on that software. Although it doesn't have all the features, it still runs that software and works pretty good on this. And that's an advantage of being on iOS. And despite this, the 5 years ending this year, there are still rumors that these might still run on iOS 16, but that is still not confirmed yet. The advantage of receiving these software updates is that apps might release updates which are only compatible with the newer software version, and maybe your phone is not compatible with it, so it won't receive that update, and you might be missing out on new features from different apps, or maybe on a phone, such as new emojis and stuff. So having a phone up to date with the current software is really important. The fourth thing you need to look at is the specs of the phone, and I'm going to mention some of the important specs that you need to look at. The first one is the RAM, which right now 4GB RAM and above is a good RAM on a phone. You should also look out for the battery life, and most of them have 4000 milliamp battery and above, which is good enough, but this might vary depending on the processor that the phone has, because there are processors that really take up much battery, and there are processors that are energy saving, such as the A15 Bionic, and that is what makes the iPhone 13 Pro Max right now have the best battery life. And for that reason, the next thing you need to look at is the processor of the phone, and I'll leave a link in the description for you to go through some of the processors that are really great right now and are fast, because you don't want to buy a phone that had a processor that was old and is not fast enough. And right now it's 2022, you need a fast phone. You also need to look at the display. Right now a good display should have an OLED display with 1080p display and above. and if you want that smooth experience, it should have a 120 Hz refresh rate. Water and dust resistance are also important, so you need to look out if the phone has IP64 or IP68 water resistance. If you found those 4 tips helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and if you have any questions regarding anything, I'll be sure to reply to every comment and any question that you have in the comment section. I make tech related videos, and I also make cool YouTube shorts, so you don't want to miss that. My name is Ian Duncan, and I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm out. Peace.